50 degrees right now, and I got to tell you, if you're not a daily peek-in person to creativeminorityReport.com, you are missing a whole bunch of stuff, and very timely as well. Matt Archbold, the creator and curator of this website, is on the line with us right now, as he is every Thursday, and I see that fresh out of Dave's mouth, today's word of the day is already posted on your website, Matt.
Good morning, Matthew.
And I literally can't wait. I wake up in the morning just waiting for your producer, Tim, to send it to me. And then the second he sends it, I get right on it.
So,
and, my wife tries talking to me. I'm like, hold on. The word of the day has not come through yet. I can't leave here.
Oh, my goodness, some incredible articles. I want you to talk about one in particular. I had a gander at it, but there's so much here. Your sons may go off to war because young unmarried women want to have sex with men they don't love. Look, the war that is going on in our culture is so sick and debased, and yet people hold it up as something good, and we know where it ends up.
That's the amazing thing. These crazy things we do, they're symptoms and they're causes all in and of themselves. But abortion doesn't exist in a vacuum. The sickness of it, pervades. Well, once you have a culture that says, we're going to get rid of some people because they're inconvenient or we don't want them, that kind of thing, it has ramifications. And as the father of a 19-year-old son right now, the fact that we're on the brink of two major wars really does concern me a lot. I do think a lot about it. And right now, I look at the television. Abortion is the issue for the Democrats in this campaign.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same for you guys right now.
Oh no, everywhere in our own state elections, it's everything.
Right, it's everything, and it's just unswerving. It's constant, and the polling, and the reason for this is the polling points out that every demographic, gender by marital status, married men, married women, and unmarried men all support the Republicans. Mm-hmm. But unmarried women support Democrats because they support abortion.
It's 70% to 30%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy. So they're trying to expose that and make it even more if possible. And you would, if you thought to yourself in Machiavellian ways, and as a politicians, I don't know if you know this, they're not typically good people. I don't know, this might be a newsflash to you, but if you get into power knowing that unmarried women support you, wouldn't you think I need more unmarried women? Wouldn't you put forth issues and things that actually make more unmarried women in order to keep you in power?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, all of a sudden you start thinking about, why are we hollowing out marriage? Why are we redefining marriage? Well, maybe there's a reason for this. Maybe, just maybe. But, and right now, the way things are going now, it does look like, we have the governor of Pennsylvania gleefully signing bombs that are going to land on Russians. How many more steps do we have until we're in actual war? And all I can think is the symptom right now is the fact that young unmarried women want to, have relations with people they don't particularly like. And that is going to lead young men to die on foreign soil. And that's truly a scary prospect. It just shows you sin is sin. It affects everything around it. It affects the entire culture. It's not just, abortion it has never been a victimless crime, and it really does sicken society all over.
Yeah, and it doesn't take long for that for you to follow that line of logic, and you know what's going to fall next. So it's not like you end up at the end point. You get there, and you get there in a progressive fashion where it's just one thing that leads to another thing.
progressive being the key word there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we find ourselves in a pickle, right, Matthew? Because it doesn't take long to connect the dots as to where we're going. St. Teresa of Calcutta was here, 25 years ago, letting Americans know you've got to stop doing this. You've got to end abortion, or violence is going to be visited upon you. You can't commit violence and expect that violence won't be committed upon you. That's the way it works.
That's exactly right. And in fact, I looked at some of her quotes about that when I was writing that piece, and it's exactly that. And some people say like, oh, she's talking about some kind of divine punishment for it. It's like, yeah, you can say that, but you can also say what you sow is what you reap.
Right.
As soon as you do that, as soon as you start into that, you will. The consequences of that do not end with that one child. They continue out, and those seeking power will realize, okay, this is the way to power now. And like goblins, the evil will accrue around evil, and it's awful, and it's only going to get worse the longer we do it. And I do truly pray for a massive conversion on this issue, including with the Republicans right now, who seem to be fleeing from this issue, and it's really rather sad to see.
Well, it sure is, and it's right there in front of us too, and you almost can't look at the news without being horrified. All right, get the straight scoop at CreativeMinorityReport.com. Matt Archbold, always a pleasure and always enlightening to our listeners. Thank you,
Matthew.
God bless, guys.
We'll be right back.